Dear Lord, please let the words that flow from me be in your spirit. Amen. So it was a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I think I made a video titled that I felt empty and I knew it would pass, whatever. And here I am feeling hollow again. I don't know if it's just a lingering effect or what. And I know that I'm constantly torn between being present and doing the happiness of now versus having the happiness of later. And that's always about putting in the work now and having the delayed effect of happiness, which is like the happiness of accomplishing a long goal or something along those lines. But I don't know, that hollow feeling is there again, and I have to wonder, like, is it a byproduct of me feeling like we're at the end? Because I've said it before, and I'll say it again, while I do feel like we are at the end, we must endure. And it's hard to know that things are going to get worse before they get better, and it's hard to just know that that is the end goal, or that is the end result, and still put forth so much effort. It's easy to give up. It's not easy to endure. That's ultimately where we're at, and yes, that's absolutely true. It doesn't make it easy, though. It doesn't make it easy to stomach. And this brings me to enlightenment. I used to think that enlightenment was something that would be so wondrous once I achieved it. And once I did achieve it, the very first point, I realized I was alone. So few people have the self-awareness or even think on the same level that I do, have that amount of selflessness that, it just seems like pettiness is trivial. And a lot of people don't have that. So I just feel alone a lot of times. And I mean, it's not like I can have an open, candid conversation about religion or spiritualism with a lot of people, the vast majority of people. Even if they claim to be open-minded, they get really sassy. And as I said, it is the mark of a debate to be sassy or apprehensive, or condescending even. And I don't like that energy. It's very difficult that I can find a person that's willing to have that kind of conversation. About the only people that are people that are essentially like Buddhists in a sense. I found that I can actually talk about that with. There are very few Christians I can talk very candidly and open and just be super transparent around, because otherwise they're wanting to challenge you, telling you you're going to go to hell, whatever. Things that when I apply actual logic to my experiences versus my understanding and my own relationship with God, it's like not the same. I don't know, it's not the same. And that is to say that no one has the exact same relationship to God, but I find myself alone in most cases. So it was very much a thing where early on in my journey, my goal was to become enlightened. And then I reached what I thought was that point, and at the end I felt completely hollow and alone. And then eventually I learned the invaluable lesson of accountability, of extreme ownership, essentially, is what I'll call it. I'll use the title of the book that helped me get to that point. But once I got and understood that lesson of accountability, it made it better. Unfortunately, my mom had just passed away at the time, so I was really going through a shift, and I had also found Dolores Cannon right around that time, and her book Between Death and Life really made the passing of my mom more tolerable. And I'm going through all these things, and I know that there are multiple instances in my life where I just feel empty and hollow, and it's hard. It all boils down to the difficulty of simply enduring and simply existing. I know that I'm here for it, and I know that's what I'm here for, and I know that I can let go, and I know that in the end everything's going to be okay, because Jesus Christ himself tells me that every time I'm feeling anxious. His voice is there, He's telling me it's okay to let go. It's okay for me to just exist because I've done what I've come here to do, and it's okay to let go and know that I'm good. But still, I find myself having difficulty letting go of things, and just sitting here and enduring is something that's even worse. It's like I need to find what makes me feel alive, and I feel like I come on here and I tell you guys everything that I know, and it's like I don't live that. It's like people tell you, practice what you preach, and sometimes it's what I actually need to do, and I do tell myself that every day, to just practice what I preach. And I don't know, maybe it's that the holidays are over, and while I did talk very candidly about how chaotic the holidays are, that after it's over, we do get that rest, and I did manage to get a vacation this year, so I'm very happy about that. But now it's back to the grind, and I see how pointless a lot of things are, and how us being called to endure, I don't know. I was in the middle of this thought process, and then what I saw from an overview is it was like this system, and it all boiled down to, we work for meaning, not for profit. So if I'm not finding any meaning in what I'm doing 8 hours a day, because I'm working for profit essentially, but that profit is what is allowing me to live the life that I do. It's what allowed me to buy the house that I bought in this year. It is what is allowing me to be able to pump life into it. So it's not solely for profit. It is allowing me access to these services and all that stuff, and that is where balance comes into play. That is where mindset comes into play. It is where being able to manage your mindset will affect the trajectory of your life. I've said this quote many times before, but for anyone who has not listened before, in the military there was a term of phrase. There were two of them. One was embrace the suck. The other one was strong mind, strong body. That is what the MTIs were screaming at our sister flight while they were making them do MTI tools, which, for those of you that don't know, that's when you get in trouble and you have to work out in formation. And they were just screaming at them, strong mind, strong body. And at the end of that road, what I found was just, pretty much everything was mental. Basic at the end of the day was very easy, I would say. Once I just shut my brain off and just accepted things for what they were and just dealt with them head on and in a transparent way, that was ultimately how I developed that skill set. That was the first step on the path of learning that whole lesson about accountability, and just learning to not care so much and to just do something, because nothing's ever going to be perfect anyways. So no matter how many times I idealize it, the best thing to do is just do it, because I'm going to mess it up the first time. You're going to mess it up the first time. We're all going to mess it up the first time. That's why I've been doing YouTube for 10 years, and it's just now starting to pop off for me. And as I talk about this is very much going into why it's beneficial for me to have a video diary series, so to speak, and where it's beneficial, even if it's something where you want to keep your thoughts private, to having a journal is of your best interest, because I really am just... You saw it live on camera. I came in here, I was feeling hollow, I was feeling kind of depressed, and I had this overall negative buildup in my mind. But as soon as I spoke all these words out and was able to just focus on them and whittle it down to the core, and just apply that ideology that I have now, I've kind of gotten over it in a sense. Those 8 hours are done. I'm no longer at that job right now. I can focus on my personal goals. I can focus on relaxation if that is what I really want to do. But at the end of the day, What I'm actually getting a better grasp of is where I'm at the end of the day versus in the moment. So in the moment, it might be really nice to just sit there and just shut the brain off and go on to YouTube and ingest a ton of content. When you're at the end of that road, how do you feel? Do you feel accomplished, or do you feel like you wasted a lot of your life? For me, a lot of times I sit there at the end of that and I'm just like, man, I just feel regret ringing in my soul. And it's like, I could have spent that time doing something else. I could have made a little bit more content. I could have, uh, I said in recent posts that I am working on a book, and that's true. Yesterday I forced myself, that first step is the hardest, right? I've said it before. I forced myself to open my laptop and just start writing, and I wanted to not stop. And then my brain was flowing, and it was only like 20 minutes right before bed, but still from that my mind was just buzzing, and I found it a little bit difficult to sleep. So what I did is I put on the Gateway Experience in my headphones and fell asleep to that, and it was pretty interesting. That leads me to the next topic, and that is that my dreams have been really crazy, vivid lately. I went through a period over the last 2 years before we moved into this place that I didn't have very vivid dreams, which is not like me because I have had vivid dreams most of my life. A lot of them. Zombie apocalypse dreams were huge for me at some point, and I remember I'd get so stressed in those dreams that I'd wake up with my teeth hurting because of how hard I was clenching my jaw. And I had a dream, a zombie apocalypse dream. It was a regular dream that turned into a zombie apocalypse dream the other day, but instead of like a normal zombie apocalypse, like the slow shambling ones, it dealt with the 28 days later infected, and maybe that goes back into the day that I had my rapture dream, that the 28 years later was announced. But it dealt with a cult. This guy, he was like a Deus Ex Machina, except for chaos. He literally just showed up out of nowhere in the middle of my dream, and his face was like contorting, and he cut his arm open, and it was like a cult. Like, people came to him to start drinking his blood, and when they were taking his blood, they were turning into infected and running into the streets and trying to infect everyone else. And I just remember running through the city, and it was a faceless city. I've never been there before in my life, but it was a faceless city, and I was trying to run with my wife and trying to save her and keep her safe while the infected started, and it started right in front of me. And as I'm thinking about the way this man looked and how his face formed, it reminds me of a dream that I had when I was about 10 years old. And the face ended the same thing, and it was a zombie dream, another zombie dream, except it was like I was in a video game that time, and the zombies had an invisible wall, like they were locked in a cell, and I got too close to the cell, and it like sucked me in. And I tried to like fight out and glitch the game, but it didn't work. And then it went to a black screen, like Resident Evil 2 when you die, except the zombie's face was like right up in mine, and it shaped into the same thing. It almost was like those old school hockey masks where they had the slits where the mouths were, and then hollowed out eyes, almost like the I can't say it's a Jason mask. It's kind of like a mixture of the Michael Myers mask and the Jason mask. It's really weird, but either way, it can't be good. And I don't know if it's a sign of things to come, if that's like telling us that the collapse is happening, or that there is a sickness spreading through society right now that is turning people into zombies. Like, a lot of people say that cell phones are essentially turning people into zombies now. I don't know. I don't know if it's representative of something or if it's just my mind doing stuff, but I don't know. It was a very interesting dream, and the dreams have come back, right? The rapture dream was not my first vivid dream that I've had, but the dreams have returned since moving to this place, and I have a theory about that. Maybe it was me trying to get over the carjacking incident, right? The trauma of almost dying 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, almost 3 years ago at this point. But yeah, I'm gonna assume it's that, and now that I've processed that most of the way, now my brain is coming up with these things, and the dreams are returning. But I don't know. All I know is this is all kind of tying in together, and it's really difficult to find meaning, but it is my path to endure. And you saw live, well, I can't say it's live, I'm recording this and then uploading it, but you saw it through the duration of this video. I was able to just kind of frame the situation as is and then talk myself around it and kind of break myself out of that funk. So yes, here we are, and I do have something to be excited about. Number one, I will be going on a trip to Hawaii very soon for one of my best friend's weddings, and I am the best man, and I am so excited. It's really expensive, but really excited to go. So we have everything squared away there, and are really planning on going gung-ho there. And just, it's going to be really good to have another vacation by the end of this month. Then I have a new microphone coming, and you've heard me talk in multiple videos now where I have talked about my setup out in the garage. We need to set up my office/gym room. However, a lot of my friends are reaching out to me saying that they really need me, they miss me, they want me to play video games with them again, and I really need to set that content PC up so I can, number one, do the editing on the paranormal documentary that we shot over the spring. So need to shoot that, or need to edit that. And then I have a new microphone coming in, I think I just mentioned, and we are going to be doing different styles of content. If you like these, please let me know and I will continue to do these. But I also figured I could bring you better audio while showcasing kind of the property in the more outdoorsy areas right now. And look at this, my cat is trying to get in. Let me see if she's gonna do it again. No, she's just meowing, but she's right there under the door. Yeah, she's meowing at us. You wanna claw again? No. Okay. She's not gonna claw again. So, unfortunate, but she was there. And you saw it. You saw her walking around there. But yeah, that's kind of the thing that we have going on right now. So, weddings, trips, and trying to stave off depression. This is how I know that money is not the answer, the end all. You have to find meaning in your life. Whatever makes you live, what gives you life, you have to do that thing. I feel like I'm doing a good service by talking very candidly, openly about my own mental health, my spiritual growth, my growth with the Holy Spirit, my connection to Jesus Christ, my connection to the infinite creator, and trying to really frame things and trying to demystify it and clear the aura of fear that's around it, because you really do have to let go of fear to be able to ascend. And really it is fear, truly, that makes us act so crazy and violent. At the core of it all, it is fear that led us to anger, that leads us to hate, which leads us to suffering. So Star Wars kind of has it right in that sense. Fear is the enemy, and it is actually in the story that I'm writing, fear is the ultimate enemy. And it's going to be interesting if I ever get to a point where it becomes published, or if I get to a point where I can release it to you all. I hope I do. It'll be interesting to share. But it is in these moments where I have to realize there's the yin there's the yin, there's the yang, there's the good, the bad, the good and the bad, and the bad and the good. And I am writing that line of absolute balance and harmony, because while I am working for a company that is all about profit, at the end of the day, what I'm doing with those funds is I'm rehabbing an old house. I have a lot of equipment that will allow me to bring the message of light and love to a lot of people who need it, and they'll get it when they need it. I know that deep down in my heart. So when I have days where I don't have any sort of channel growth, I know that it is only a matter of time, and so I'm just working on that, working through it. I'm not very much a handyman, so all the stuff that's happening with this house as we go through our first winter is a little bit stressful. But I'm working on it. I'm working through those fears, and we're just sitting tight and seeing what happens, getting quotes, doing all the stuff you gotta do for rehabbing an old house. So with that being said, everyone, I feel like we've reached the natural conclusion to the video. To all of the recent subscribers, I want to say thank you so much. As always, it means a lot that you think I am worth even a minute of your time. It really does truly mean the world, and I say it every single video, so it's probably lost its luster, but I can't describe how much it means to me that I'm helping, at least in some regard. So thank you for letting it known that I am worth your time and that it helped you in some way. And with that, guys, I'll continue pumping out the content. Just let me know if you want to see more of the landscape with the voiceover, or if you like this the way it is. Either way, there is more to come. There will always be more to come. And until the next time, my name is Ken, and I'll see you then.